Master. Mitch McConnell used to have a good relationship with Biden when he was a vice president.
Mm-hmm.
But recently, McConnell has turned on him and criticized Biden, saying he is profoundly unpresidential.
How profoundly unpresidential. Look, I've known, liked, and personally respected Joe Biden for many years. I did not recognize the man at the podium yesterday.
And even said he did not even recognize him anymore.
Uh-huh.
What prompted McConnell to turn on Biden like that?
Are you not happy that your country has a better, high official?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I hope he's sincere, but he's truly an adept politician. He bends with the wind very, very flexibly.
Yes.
He had a very good relationship with Biden, not just when he was vice president. It's been a while already. And he has been always with Biden all this time now.
Yes, in the Senate.
Until whenever he made that remark. But I hope he's sincere for your own country, for your citizens' sake.
I hope so.
I truly hope for your country's sake.
Yes, Master.
But I just hope it's not like it's just strategically the clever person or works as his wife advised him.
Yes, Master.
You remember before he kept changing his tone all the time.
Yes, he did.
Concerning President Trump, yeah?
Yes,
he did, Master.
And others, etc., etc. I think he's very adept as survival. Recently, Biden himself and the White House administration, the Democrats also have been going down in approval ratings.
Yes.
And quite a few of the Democrats are resigning or did resign already for different reasons.
Yes, Master.
Either they want to live their private life or they don't agree with Biden but didn't want to say it due to the party protectiveness, or they just getting old and tired and feel frustrated, so resign.
Yes.
Thus, many empty seats have been or will be in the Democrat House and Senate.
Yes.
So Republicans will gain control.
Yes.
The consequences like that. And then Trump has been more popular because of Biden's unpopularity.
Yes.
So I think he knows it's a time that the flag will fly in the other direction. So he begins to criticize. That's very, very strong of him. Because since he was praising Biden when Biden left, even as vice president, and said it has been an honor to work with you, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
And it has been supporting Biden and his administration all this time, And suddenly he turned. That's very crispy. Yeah, very crunchy. How unpresidential, yeah? Blah, blah, blah. That's a lot for him, yeah? I mean, normally he has criticized a little bit here and there, and then suddenly like that. It's a very strong hammer.
Yes.
Well, he has been wavering a little bit, I think, for a while now. Since the Democrats have been kind of losing in different states.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and people are also fed up with the White House. And the significant numbers of staff resigned from the White House, just quit.
Yes, Master.
Yeah, Democrats.
Yes, Master.
Yeah, who work for the White House or work for Harris, they quit in numbers.
Wow.
I didn't count, but I saw some here and there, a few, and they are significant staff members. And there are many rumors, like they don't get on well. The White House is a mess and all that, yeah. So he smells all this. Yeah, if he doesn't turn to the other direction, he'll be doomed.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why he cares so much. He's so old already. He should be gone. Yeah. But he likes his position. He likes his work because he's more powerful than president even.
Yes, Master.
And also some of the Republicans warn him that if he doesn't support Trump, he doesn't work for Trump, then nothing will work. He's not going to be the leader of the Senate again.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
And they meant it. They meant what they said. So he's kind of, shaky a little bit.
Yes,
Master.
If Republicans regain control of the House and the Senate, then I don't think they will leave him in peace,
Yes, Master.
because he has been not very favorable with the Republicans all this time, especially for his president.
Yes.
Not faithful, loyal, and not good. But I sincerely pray that everything is possible with God's grace, that he might have turned around and changed his heart,
Yes, Master.
and to really serve your country faithfully and sincerely. I do hope like that.
Yes,
Yes, Master.
We hope so too, Master.
It's not good for any country if politicians are not sound in moral standards.
Yes, Master.
And it's obvious, no?
Yes.
Very obvious.
I don't promise anything, okay?
Oh, no.
I'm just saying I hope.
Okay.
I hope everything is possible if God's grace interferes.
Yes, Master.
And that he is really sincere in serving his country with all his honesty and moral fitness. Okay?
Yes, Master.
Yes, Master.
Yeah. All right. More?
Yes, Francis now promises to bring justice to abused children, the victims of sexual abuse by the clergy. So he spoke to an audience, the Vatican's Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, a few days ago.
So that was just a day after an independent audit had faulted the previous Pope Benedict XVI of his handling of 4 cases of sexual abuse of minors by the clergy
Yeah.
when he was Archbishop of Munich, Germany.
A new report accuses Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI of poorly handling sexual abuse cases in a German diocese. The report claims when Benedict was Archbishop in Munich, he knowingly allowed abusive priests to continue working for the church without sanctions. Pope Benedict denies the accusations.
What are Master's thoughts on this? Could this be another one of Francis's distractions, or is he turning good?
You hope.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you, I don't trust this guy. I told you many times already. He just did. And does something trendy, okay?
Yes.
To make it look good. Just before he became Pope, people already groomed him, already prepared.
Yes, Master.
Many years before he became Pope. So they even let him wash the feet of the criminals
Yes.
on video.
Yes.
So they use that. And everybody thinks he's a humble and good Pope. See that?
Yes, Master.
Never mind about that. Because he didn't seem to be any more humble and more caring in many other dimensions.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why many people complain to him about sexual abuse of their children or themselves, and he just ignored them all.
Yes, Master.
He didn't even write anything to them or comfort them or say sorry or anything. Nothing.
That's right.
Not even seeing them, not even replying to them, not even comforting them, nothing.
Yes, Master.
Right. So the sexual abuse stuff has been reported to him long ago already.
Right.
And he didn't do anything, as you know.
Yes.
And now, boom, somebody reported about Pope Benedict. So he immediately said, oh, I will do it. You see that?
Yes.
Now he has another scapegoat. Last time he kicked out the second most powerful priest from Vatican office
Yes.
because of gay marriage condemning as a sin. And then he wrote a letter to everybody saying, oh, it's okay and all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, this guy, he knows nothing. He cares for nothing. I asked heaven how much love quality does he have. They say minus 40 something. Minus, not even zero. Minus 0. Let me remember. Minus 42%.
Wow.
Remember before I told some of you, say you have too little love.
Yes.
20 something percent or 30%. I said too little already.
Yes. Wow. Minus.
Minus. So even if he's not a devil himself, he is very easy to be worked on by the devils. You understand me?
Yes,
You
yes.
understand? Yeah, because they will be greedy, they will be liars, they will be immoral, anything just to gain fame
Yes. Yes, Master.
and gain fame and profit.
Yes.
Yes, Master.
And under him, they're using 90% of donations originally for the poor, just for the Vatican.
Yes,
Yes,
Master.
Master.
I told you, he blamed somebody else. it's easier. He found a scapegoat again, because how come he didn't say anything about it before? Huh?
That's true, Master.
Many people complain that some newspaper printed all about that, evidence, everything. And he said, oh, it's not a sin. A sin of the flesh is not a big deal, remember?
Yes, Master.
Yeah. Just to ignore it, because these people are the ones who voted for him. The whole gang, the mafia gang, they call themselves even,
Yes.
because they cheated to put him in there. And then even according to the canon law, it is illegal, spiritually illegal, and they should be excommunicated or kicked out.
Yes.
So of course he didn't dare to offend them.
All right.
Otherwise, who would support him? Who would protect him in his position?
Yes.
Cardinal Gottfried Daniels was a key member of the very St. Gallen Mafia he mentioned in 2015, a group of powerful churchmen who worked behind the scenes to get Pope Francis elected in 2013. Their goal, according to historian Henry Sire, to gather these powerful, like-minded prelates together to use their vast networks of contacts to bring about what political analysts would recognize as regime change, discarding priestly celibacy, offering communion to divorced and civilly remarried Catholics, voting for pro-abortion politicians, ordaining women priests, and normalizing homosexuality. According to German journalist and author Paul Bade, in an interview conducted by the National Catholic Register, at the invitation of Cardinal Silvestrini, the St. Gallen group met in Villa Nazareth. The purpose of the meeting? To prevent the election of Joseph Ratzinger. This meeting, called by Silvestrini, was held, according to Bade, only 3 days after Karol Wojtyła, or John Paul II's, death.
We are reporting the death of Pope John Paul II at the Vatican. He was 84 years old.
The 2005 conclave proved unsuccessful for the St. Gallen Mafia, as Ratzinger was elected. But 2013 was another story.
February 11, 2013, Pope Benedict announces his resignation.
Within hours of Pope Benedict announcing that he was to resign, take a look at this. Lightning struck St. Peter's Basilica. You can see it again now in slow motion.
Lightning struck St. Peter's Basilica twice immediately following the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI. Now, some people might not make anything of that, but lightning is something in sacred literature that almost always carries spiritual connotation. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's evil, like when Jesus referred to Satan as falling like lightning.
So he didn't want to do anything. Now he has a scapegoat, so he said, oh, I will do it. See that?
Yes.
Because he was just a small diocese. The former Pope Benedict, he was just an archbishop in Munich. He happened there, maybe just not a lot. Maybe one or two priests. He wasn't a pope at that time. And then when he was the pope, there were so many things, other things he had to do, and he's a straightforward guy, so sometimes he offends other people. So since he couldn't do it, he resigned. Maybe not because of old age or illness or anything, even though maybe it was one of the reasons, but maybe he saw the corruption in the church, in the Vatican.
As much as sexual scandals and innuendo have come to a boil in the last days of Pope Benedict XVI's reign, what is proving equally damaging to his legacy are the simmering stories of disarray, corruption, and infighting in the management of the Vatican. The Pope himself has repeatedly over past months made references to it.
The sins against the unity of the Church, of the divisions in the body of the Church.
Di Gregorio is one of the two journalists who have reported, as this headline in her paper says, sex and blackmailed careers are behind Benedict's resignation. Sordid tales of Vatican officials consorting with male prostitutes.
Una curia in mano a una rete.
A church governed, she says, by a network of officials, some of whom are compromised by their homosexual activities. Compromised perhaps to senior levels, says Ignazio Ingrao, a writer for the newsweekly Panorama. How high does it go? Cardinals?
Fino ai cardinali. Sì, Cardinals.
Signore Cardinali. Ingrao says he believes Pope Benedict's attempts at reform were stymied every step of the way.
In questi 8 anni il Papa...
In these 8 years, the Pope has repeatedly made calls to stop the divisions, he says, to end the power struggles in the Curia, and to have more transparency. But these calls weren't heeded.
The secret documents leaked last year by the Pope's butler, according to the reporter who first published them, paint a devastating picture of an isolated Pope surrounded by members of the Italian Curia who actively impeded his efforts, something that surprised the author.
La solitudine del Santo Padre.
The Pope's loneliness in front of what is happening in the Vatican Curia. A Pope that was alone and was left alone. A Pope who is a great theologian but who hasn't succeeded in bringing forth his reforms in the battle for transparency.
He was the first pontiff to ever take meaningful action in response to the waves of priest-sex abuse that have plagued the Catholic Church for these many decades now. He sat down with priest-sex abuse victims, even apologized for what he considered to be the, quote, filth sweeping through the Catholic Church. Unlike his predecessor, John Paul II, Benedict XVI was long known as God's Rottweiler for being a fierce defendant of Catholic Church doctrine.
In fact, Nuzzi, whose book is now coming out in English entitled Ratzinger Was Afraid, believes the butler took the risk of leaking the documents precisely because he believed making them public would help the Pope in his battle to restore order. According to Nuzzi, the corruption the Pope tried but failed to root out included kickbacks on Vatican contracts, money laundering, and influence peddling, among other things. And author Nuzzi is convinced each time the Pope tried to change the rules, his attempts were frustrated.
You can keep on believing in the fable that the Pope has resigned because he is tired, but I don't believe it.
Si è deciso in solitudine perché non si fidava.
He decided by himself, says Di Gregorio, to resign because he no longer trusted the men around him.
Thank you for the prayers.
Benedict says he's not abandoning the church, but according to these accounts, the church may have abandoned him.
So he probably didn't know how to deal with it.
Yes.
At that time, it was not such a big problem yet. Maybe some reporting here and there, but we did not even discover all the murdered children in the graves. In silence, in the darkness of the Catholic administration, priests and all, in Canada or in America. You see, we didn't discover hundreds of thousands of them dead in unknown graves. Because of the sexual rape, because maybe murder, to keep silent, to keep it secret. Maybe the way they raped them was too brutal and they just died. Imagine they were just 2, 3, 6 years old.
Yes,
how can they bear it?
That's right, Master. Yes.
All these fat people who eat from the donations and then turn around and harm the children.
Yes, Master. God.
They came from anywhere, somewhere, and robbed them of their land, destroying their houses, and snatching away their children, raping them, murdering them. Huh? What kind of civilization is that? Shameless, especially when it comes from so-called holy institutions, holy churches and clergy, and are supposed to be God's representatives.
Ti posso assicurare che la corruzione del clero romano, dell'altro clero romano, anche quello che ruota intorno al nostro Papa, mi dispiace, è un'alta percentuale, il che vuol dire che i veri celibi fedeli a quel messaggio sono pochissimi.
One former priest said that, perhaps 50% of priests who enter the priesthood may be gay. I talked to a long-time veteran journalist here in Rome who said it's well known that monsignors and others in the Vatican conduct affairs either with women or men. The real issue here is there is a difference between having affairs and committing crimes against young boys, which is what happened under these priests for so many generations.
Everywhere that we have good data, 10% of the priests abuse children. And, in Buenos Aires, where Pope Francis served as the Cardinal Archbishop, he claimed that no priest abused children there. And that's simply ridiculous.
I advise all the people who believe in God or Buddha, just pray to God and Buddha. Don't ever trust these priests who might harm you spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally in any way. Going to people's houses, stealing their food, stealing their land, robbing them of their freedom, and even raping and murdering the children. Oh God, sickening race of people.
Yes, Master.
No wonder heaven wants to destroy this planet. Oh, and hell is waiting to roast them. The governments are siding with the powerful, with the church, with the priests, the bad and rotten, evil priests, instead of protecting the citizens. Wow, they are taking their tax money to have privilege, to have prestige, to have richness and security.
Yes.
That's why I told you they are cowards. They're rotten. These governments, they're all rotten. I dare to say that in their face also. The children are suffering and they're ignoring it. They're siding with the criminal instead of the victim.
Yes.
Yeah, and outside in their society, they're just chasing after one, poor thief or some little small criminal.
Yes.
Yeah, just for show, just to put it on the TV, just to be in the press that they're doing something. While the real, truly wicked, worst criminals are protected by their own system. That's why I told them, all these governments who did nothing to protect the children, past, present, and future, they're all rotten. They all will go to hell together with these criminals. And I'm not telling you a lie. It is a truth like that.
Yes.
I will make sure they will stay in hell forever. And the politicians and the corrupt church people, church priests and administration people, they have the same thing in common. They cheat to go to the high positions.
Yes, Master.
In the case of Francis, his gang cheated so that he could become pope.
Yes.
In the case of Biden, it's the same.
Yes, Master.
Yes.
And similar. Wow, they love each other. You saw that?
Yes.
Didn't you see? It's obvious.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Chemical reaction?
Yes.
The chemistry between these groups of people is obvious.
Yes, Master.
So now you can see Francis' promise and why, right?
Yes, Master.
You can see very well. Don't count too much on it.
Okay, Master.
Don't count too much on it. When Pope Benedict was still in office, it probably wasn't that much reported.
Yes, Master.
One way that you get appointed is that you run your diocese well. Under John Paul II, one way that people got appointed was by how many seminarians and priests they had. So if you were getting more and more vocations, good priest, he's a good bishop, give him a better give him a bigger diocese. And certainly you didn't want to have on your record that you had a number of priests that abused people, because that would reflect badly on you. So they keep this kind of stuff quiet. It's kind of like, if you want to be seen in a positive light from Rome, which makes a lot of these career decisions for people, only bring good news to the Vatican.
And then he probably didn't know what to do. Maybe they were too strong for him also in the Vatican. At that time, they were already preparing for Francis. They were already boiling, brewing with darkness, and he probably was not comfortable. And so he resigned. But at least while he was in office, he feared God, he worshipped God. He even say he retired because God wanted him to meditate. It is possible. See, he's connected with God. God told him to do what, and he does it. But he has never opened his mouth in any way, anywhere that we heard of to blemish God, to degrade Jesus Christ.
That's correct.
Yes.
Huh? At least not.
Yes.
He's humble. He fears God and he worships God. That's for sure.
Yes.
Even though he couldn't do other things that people wanted him to do. But at that time, it was not so obvious like Francis, the time when he knows everything.
Yes.
About many hundreds of thousands of children being raped and molested and died. Murder.
Yes.
Yes.
And evidence was everywhere.
Yes.
And everyone was talking about it. So there was more prominent evidence for him to do something, but he didn't. He just ignored it all the time and say sins of the flesh are not important. And then say God is a failure. Many times he say that. Jesus is also a failure.
Y esto es
La historia del fracaso de Dios.
This here, in this item, is the history of God's failure.
Es un vía crucis.
It's the way of the cross.
At times, I like to think about joking with the Lord. He said, "You don't have a good memory. This is the weakness of God. When God forgives, He forgets."
We need to remember that we are followers of Jesus Christ. And his life, humanly speaking, ended in failure, the failure of the cross.
Y anuncian que por las venas de Jesús corre sangre pagana.
This is Vatican Radio, and I'm Susie Hodges. Pope Francis said the story of God's love for us can be found on the cross, where Jesus emptied himself of his divinity and dirtied himself with sin in order to save humanity. Turning back to the figure of the serpent, Pope Francis said the animal is a mystery because it's a symbol of sin that both kills and saves.
Serpente che uccide, un serpente che salva.
And it's the mystery of Christ, who emptied himself, humiliated himself, destroyed himself, and became sin in order to save us. Pope Francis said using this symbol, Jesus became a serpent.
Then what is he doing in the house of God?
Yes, that's right, Master.
And the place of Jesus' worship.
Yes,
Master. It's like a thief
Yes.
going into a house illegally and yelling at the owner and disrespecting them, like shoving them out by degrading them, by slandering them. You see that? I don't know why the Christian people still let him still here. You go into the house of God, and because of God, because of Jesus, that he has such a fame, such a privilege, such a high position, and he turn around and slander them in the hardest terms. And the Christian people do nothing. And the government, who's supposed to be Christian, faithful, also do nothing. This world is hell. It's going to be more hell if they continue this way, worshiping the devil instead of God.
Yes.
He doesn't slander anybody bad. He just slanders the good one and the Almighty God, and say he's not even coming in his name. Then in what name is he coming? Can only be Satan, no?
Yes, Master.
It's so obvious. Why does nobody do anything? The whole Christendom, 2 billion of them, doing nothing. You see that?
Yes, Master.
It makes me so angry. My God. Was that in the time of Jesus? In the time of Jesus, they say Jesus was a blasphemous. That's why they kill him. At least they kill him in the name of God, because they thought that Jesus said he's the Son of God, but he's lying.
Yes.
So they thought he was cheating people. But this guy, he truly is offending God, slandering God.
Yes.
And the true people, Christian people, do nothing. No wonder the world became like this. No wonder heaven is punishing them with one virus after another, and many more, strange viruses keep coming, and more variants coming, and they don't even know how dangerous they can be yet. One is stronger than the other already, obviously.
Yes.
This man, if he doesn't go to hell, then you should not trust me anymore. He will. Okay? And
Yes,
he will
Master.
never get out of hell again. I will make sure of that. This you can trust me.
Yes, Master.
Even if the world is too cowardly or too blind or too poisoned to do anything, hell will not spare him.
Yes, Master.
Yeah. The judgment of heaven will not spare him. So don't believe anything.
Okay, Master.
I just believe one thing, that the Christians and the Catholics, whatever they call themselves, evangelists or born-again Christians or Seventh-day Adventists, they all believe in Christ. They should all kick him out.
Yes,
Master. In unison, unified together and kick this evil out and banish him far away from humans.
Yes, Master.
Or put him in jail and lock him in there forever before hell lock him in. Otherwise, he will harm more humans and he will protect more of these pedo priests, molesters.
Yes, Master.
My God.